Boards of directors and councils have some overriding duties. They have a duty to be loyal, a duty of loyalty, obedience, and care. So what do we mean when we say that? So let's look at loyalty. The board is a corporate body. It acts as a single unit. The board member must be faithful to the society and the council. So you can't say, I'm going to be on this board and then behave like you are somehow separate from them, above them, aside from them, next to them, over them, under them. You're a part of them. And so loyalty requires you to be a member that's faithful to the society and that board. Okay? All potential conflicts of interest must be disclosed, and personal involvement in board-related decisions should be avoided. It's just good governance practice. Personal agendas are not good for the board or the council, and they're really inappropriate. Okay? And I'm sure, without getting into any details, you've all been in meetings in this organization or in others where people came with personal agendas that they wanted to run on everybody for whatever the reasons, and you saw that how it causes friction, conflict, disunity, chaos in some cases, and even worse, a lot of hurt feelings. All the decisions that are made by the board are supported in public and in private, whether you voted for it or against it. Okay? If you can't live with that, then you should be declining to be a part of it. Nothing wrong with it. Don't look at it as a negative. That might just be the case in some instances. But if you can't, you can't. Be honest about it. Okay? Only the person who speaks for the board or the council is the one that the board has authorized to do so in a formal policy. We talked about that earlier. So that's that whole loyalty thing. The board hires a CEO and assigns the responsibilities and the authority to them to get certain things done. You'll have to allow them to do that. Okay? The board has to honor the board's decisions by supporting both the board and the CEO. Okay? It's a partnership. It's not an adversarial relationship. Okay? No individual board members should be giving direction to the CEO or any employee unless the board directs them to do that. Normally, that would be directed by the president. The authority would be given to the president to do that kind of thing. Okay, but I can see where there could be other situations based on skills where you might want to delegate. So delegation works, but it needs to be done by the board in an open and transparent way. Obedience. This is a word we don't like to use in our organization. Okay? Members must be obedient to the rule, the mission, the bylaws, and policies of the council. If that's a problem, then you really need to think about what it is you're doing there and why you're doing it. They must also be obedient to the laws imposed on the corporation by federal, state, and local governments. You can't be advising or encouraging or supporting decisions that are contrary to those first two bullet points up there. That means that personal responsibility to work with the board to be sure that all the legal requirements of the council are met accurately and on time. So that's what obedience talks about. Care. A board member attends all the board meetings, special meetings, and assigned committee meetings. That's how you demonstrate that you care for the organization you're a part of. In this case, the society's conferences or councils. You read the information that's provided. You seek additional information on action items as necessary. You don't go to the meeting saying, I don't know enough, so I won't participate in the decision. That's one option that you could exercise, but you're doing yourself and the organization a disservice when you behave that way, especially if you do it consistently. Okay? You read the basic financial information. If you don't understand it, you figure out some way to learn how to understand it, because you have the obligation to know what that information is saying about the organization, especially now and in terms of what it means for the future of that organization. So you support, and this is a review, you support counseling financially if you can. Ask questions to develop a very thorough understanding of the issues that you're dealing with, and participate in the board decision-making process. And when you go home after a board meeting, you should be able to say, that was a good meeting, we made good decisions, or we were having good conversations that will lead to good decisions. If you're going home saying, holy crap, or anything close to that, and you're mumbling under your breath, then you need to be having a conversation at the board table about what's going on here. You're not being fair to yourself or the organization, and more importantly to the people that we serve, when you allow that situation to continue to happen over a period of time. Okay? Take an active role in helping find donors and be a part of the fundraising efforts to the extent that you're able. Take part in all the other activities. This is not anything new. We covered this earlier today, so these are just final thoughts. Okay? Effective governance practice has a commonality. Governance is done in real time. It's action, it's not just theory. The decisions you make, including a decision not to make a decision. Okay? I think you've probably heard this before in other settings. Not deciding is a decision. And if you're making a decision to kick the can down the road, you need to understand the implications of that kind of a decision on the organization and its life. Okay? Good governance is ongoing, it's ever-changing, it's an improving process. It's not something that okay, we got that done, what's next? It's an ongoing learning process, and the more you do it, the better you become at it. And the more effort you put into it, the better results you get out of it, okay? Good governance is a part of being an excellent servant leader, and that's what we're all called to.